Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This one is regarding the beta reMarkable software update 3.17, which sometimes these reMarkable software updates don't have much substance to them. This one, on the other hand, is what I would say is a pretty significant update with some exciting new features. Now, the update is currently being rolled out. It's not necessarily with everybody who's enrolled in the beta program. My reMarkable Paper Pro, I don't have the option to update it on there, but I do on my reMarkable 2. So just be patient. If you are on the beta program, it will be with you in due course, but I'm going to give you all the information you need to know about the upcoming update, some of the exciting things that you should be expecting in the coming days and weeks. So before I even get into the actual content on the update release notes, there is something I've noticed which it doesn't even mention on here, which is something that a lot of people have been calling out for. So I want to make sure I mention it. And you might notice it straight away in the top left corner of your screen here, is that you can now know what colour pen you have left on your pen, on your highlighter. So let me pick another option here. So let's say you like to use the fine liner and you like to have one in grey and one in black. You can do so, and you can you're able to track which colour it's on. It's got a little indicator there. And for the reMarkable 2, obviously that's in grayscale, but for Paper Pro, it's going to be amazing that you can actually see which colour that you've left the pen on. It's a very small adjustment, but one that will be appreciated by a lot of people, I'm sure. So you can know that that's black, and you can have confidence knowing that that's grey. So diving back into the actual release notes, the biggest thing here is the release of shapes, and I'm going to come on to that in a moment, and I'll cover off the other two things initially. So one of them is the option for a bit more customization on your standby settings. So for those who aren't aware, if you go back into your settings and then go on the battery, you can find standby options here. So previously you did have a standby option to turn on and off, but now when you have it on, you have the option for the screen to basically go to sleep after 5 minutes, 20 minutes, or an hour. So the display will turn itself off after that time period. I quite like this. I believe before it was automatically 20 minutes. I might be wrong on that, but I did think that was a bit too long, so I will be leaving mine on 5 minutes going forward. The second part of this release that I want to cover off is duplicating a PDF, but having the option to duplicate your PDF that has notes on it as a clean copy. Now, some people, if you don't use PDFs very regularly, this might not be one that's particularly useful for you. But this is massive for me. In fact, as amazing as the shapes is, this is one that I'll be using a lot as well. So I'm aware other people do this maybe on their Paper Pro or their reMarkable 2, but you might use different coloured papers, let's say. So I particularly like to use, well, I'm not a big fan of always using white backgrounds when I'm writing on my reMarkables. I find it easier to concentrate sometimes if I'm using a black or a yellow background. So here's an example where it's a black PDF notebook that I've created. I'll leave the link for it in the description if you're interested. I also have multicoloured ones for the reMarkable Paper Pro in blue, yellow, red, you name it, it's sort of there. So where you can write your notes here, because it's a PDF, you can have hyperlinks. So you can have an index page. Here we've got daily reflections. You can click on that, write your notes here. But what I found myself doing before was keeping a blank copy on my reMarkable, and then I'd have to duplicate that when I filled up this notebook. But the great thing now is you don't need to retain a blank copy. All you need to do is find your PDF that you want to duplicate, you hold it down, you press duplicate as you did before, but this time you have two options. You can duplicate it with the edits, or we can do the original document. So let's test it out. That copy had notes on it, as you saw me write, but what we've got now is, I think it's this one that is the fresh copy, daily reflections. So you see that the notes have gone from there, the notes have gone from the note page, and it's completely clean. So it saves you having to erase your notes or keep a fresh copy in order to duplicate that one. So a very welcome addition. Thank you, reMarkable. And on to the last and most major part of the update, as it is entitled Shapes. We are now able to use the holding down function of your marker to create a perfect shape. Obviously we can draw them freehand before, but now we have the ability to create perfectly dimensioned shapes such as a perfect circle, rectangles, triangles, squares, boxes, etc. Now, interestingly, I've been fairly critical of reMarkable over some of the things recently, in particular with the Paper Pro, but it's nice to see that they are listening to the user base. For those who are on Reddit, there has been a particular user who basically has uploaded a picture of a freehand drawn circle every day for the past, I don't know, like 50 days or something, in an aim to get reMarkable's attention and to get them to add the feature to the device. Other e-ink devices already have this, so maybe they are a little bit behind the times, but it is nice that we do have this aspect now. So let's test it out. So a simple circle, what you should essentially be able to do is draw your freehand circle and don't lift your pen off the page. You hold it down and there you go, you get a circle. And if you keep holding your pen down, you can resize it, and then as soon as you let go, there is your circle. Now, if you do want to move that or relocate that in a different part of the page, obviously you can use your select tool, move it around, and then we can resize it again. So there we have a circle. The release note said that we have an oval, so we'll test that out. There it is, an oval. With the oval, interestingly, yeah, we can rotate that as well as make it bigger and smaller. So I'll let that one go and pop it into place. Really nice. When you do resize it, obviously the thickness of the line can change. So what I would recommend personally is I like to use the fine liner on the biggest thickness. So if you're doing a circle, for example, then actually, maybe let me know what you think, but it looks like the line retains its thickness. I wasn't sure about on the oval, but it looks like it does retain its thickness there, which is a good thing. Okay, so we've got an oval, we've got a circle. Let's try a basic square. There's our square. That is actually a rectangle. Well, we've gone ahead and done a rectangle there. So the thing is, if you want to get it lined up quite nicely, you do have to be quite intricate with your pen placement if you wanted to get it perfectly flat, but it is very much doable if you want a flat square or rectangle. Let's see how easy it is to get a square freehand. This will be close enough. And the nice thing is we can rotate that. So we can grab our square, get it flat. And then if you want to draw, say, a flowchart, for example, we can take that exact square and you can copy it so you get the same size. And then it's just as simple as that, and you can create your visuals that way. So it is really actually quite easy to use here. You just roughly draw your shape and it picks it up pretty well. If I try draw like a rough square, didn't pick that one up. Let's try one more time. It's still picking it up quite well. It does pick up on variation with the sides of the square, which I'll show you in a moment. So we can do maybe like rhombuses and things like that. But we've done these ones, so now let's test the triangle. So here's the interesting thing with the triangle. It doesn't just automatically give you an equilateral triangle. So that's, well, it's not very equilateral, but you can see there that it's sort of picked up on the size dimensions that I've done freehand. So if I want to do a more extreme one like this, it will equally create the triangle like that. So if I want to try do a right angled triangle, let's see if I can do this freehand. It's not very right angled, but you see it does actually pick up on the nuances of your hand-drawn shape there, which means if you want a perfect triangle, in some ways you do have to be quite careful. I'm going to try again to do a right angled triangle. That one actually does look pretty right angled, and if you want to reuse that, obviously we can duplicate that and do what we like with it. Interestingly, it feels like they snap into place a bit as well. So that's nice to have. So you've got triangles, squares, circles, ovals, rectangles. Now you might have noticed earlier that whilst we can do squares and rectangles, it also seems to be allowing us to do other forms or variations of a square, such as, I think this is called a trapezium, please do correct me if I'm wrong. We can try do a rhombus. We could try do a parallelogram. And it actually picks up on all of them. You can see here that this side is slightly bigger than that one. So if you are wanting perfect shapes with these types of shapes, you are going to have to be a bit more careful with your hand-drawn aspects. But it's still really nice to have this here. I think most people are perhaps just going to appreciate the humble circle and the fact that you can now just hold it down and you've got a perfectly shaped circle there. And it goes without saying we can use different colours as well. Whilst this is on the reMarkable 2, you can obviously use the greys. On the Paper Pro, it's going to be nice to use different coloured circles and to create the visuals that you want there. So that's an overview of beta 3.17, which is rolling out currently and should make its way into a normal update in the coming weeks. It's really nice to see an update with substance to it, with useful tools that I know in particular I will find useful, and it's nice that reMarkable are continuing to offer those updates and that support, and this shapes, the PDF duplication, even the simple colour indication on the pens are big things which people have been asking for and that they are now delivering. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please feel free to follow along on my channel and leave this video a like. Take care.